Hey, KMS Rundown listeners, you can find every episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Prime members can listen ad-free on Amazon Music.
Wow.
Gentlemen, we made it. Another week.
Good evening.
We have, we're going to misread this week, but we got the Drip Lord himself, Patrick Ford. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Great. And we got Gina Carr.
Gina Carr. Unbelievable miss by Jeff D. Lowe.
My rival and friend.
And frenemies. Yeah, I mean, I don't get how he just figured that out. That is unbelievable to me, to be honest with you. Like
Sheldon, how many people do you think are not caught up on KMS this week? It's Saturday morning. They're getting a push notification on their phone that says like from the Kirk Minahan Show network or Kirk Minahan Show YouTube page. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, where's my show? What is going on with Kirk's world?
Culture shock.
I would assume that since most of us are insane, everyone's caught up. So yeah, and if anyone follows the world on Twitter or anything, then they kind of piece it all together. So this is going to be a big deal, a big show.
Momentous day.
We brought in the big hitters.
Yeah, so it's been a week. We only had 4 shows, and I only say only because there's 5 days in a week, but it was more than enough to jam pack into everything. And we have to start with the one and only Beyond Average Mick. I listened to his show this morning, and it was like he was in a therapy office talking to a therapist, but the therapist was himself. And it was just back and forth and back and forth. I mean, my head was spinning. What do you think, Patrick?
Do you listen to his shows? Because most of them are like that. They're just now a little bit more manic. It's just a lot of like talking to
They're
an audience
so
that
manic.
isn't there.
They're so manic. He's got to stop doing them that late at night.
I've been on a roller coaster with Mick. I couldn't stand him before the producer search. I thought it was just super annoying. And then I started to like him. And now I think I like him more because he is the craziest person in this entire universe. Like him and Yellow Shirt Guy they're racing with the Yellow Shirt Racing Company to the finish line of the lunatic zone. He is nuts. I love him.
I think I said in the past, I listened to like a lot of network shows or when I have listened on like 2x speed or 3 with Mick. And I think John pointed out, like he does the slow cadence. It's the Jim Roma. I can do like 3.3 speed with him and hear everything he's saying. So I do listen. I just listen in like 10 minutes. Mick, to me, it's kind of like, I'm the same way. Like it's like you hate part of him, but you love part of him. And that's why you love him, because you just can't figure out. It's kind of like Andy Kaufman. Is the whole thing a performance? Is it just who he actually is? He like blurs that line so well or so terribly, because sometimes it obviously comes back to bite him. Like he had objectively a great show Tuesday. And then he just can't like coast. He can't just ride that wave a little bit. He has to just get closer and closer to the sun and just burn up. And I mean, the obvious question is like, was he joking with the stuff he was talking about Big Cat and Kirk last night? Like, is it a bit? Is it not a bit? I honestly don't know. Maybe he's just terrible at like the wink and nod. Like I am joking, wink, wink. But I honestly, I don't really know. I don't know what you guys think.
I can't tell if he's trying to get a job at Barstool, if he's trying to get a job at KMS, or he's just fighting an inner demon within himself of whatever he's trying to get to. I don't know what he's doing. I'm also very confused. I think he's saying it in his own joking way, because that was the whole thing in the producer search. He couldn't really take the beating, couldn't take the harshness. But I think part of him is kidding, but there is a serious undertone under there where he thinks that they should be giving him a call.
I mean, he definitely has demons. That's not
Yeah. As you can see, I do too.
We've seen the pictures.
We'll get to that later. No, there's a lot going on with Mick. I mean, it's just a giant roller coaster, and I honestly don't know where he wants to work, but he compared himself today to if he was successful, then Kirk would be like, damn, I let the next Howard Stern get away. And it's like, what?
But like, is that a joke or not?
I honestly don't think it is.
I mean, it's got to be. The Howard Stern part is a joke, but like the blind Mike, like maybe he, in his actual like truth serum mind, he's on par with the blind Mike. He should have his own like 400 people watching him live every show. versus like 14 watching when he's doing a Rubik's Cube. So let's play. Like, okay, is him walking out of studio? Was that a bit or was that real when he started?
That was real.
No, that
was real.
I think that was real.
When he's saying that he is very similar to Ryan Minahan, is that like amplified, or is that like what his lunatic brain believes?
I think that's amplified a little bit to kind of comparing himself to Ryan to kind of dial into Kirk a little bit.
So I think that's where he's a little delusional. And does again is, but maybe he's just like blurred that line so much that he doesn't know himself. But again, it's the beauty of Mick. Like this was an electric appearance. He's had more like previous electric performances. They're not all like that, but can't get enough Mick, I suppose.
Do we think there was actually a job, like a sit down with his boss at 8 a.m. at like a coffee shop?
Probably, but I did what. Sheldon, I have to ask you, do you wear socks under your work boots?
Yes, I do.
How bad did that piss you off?
Yeah. I most people wear socks under dress shoes. That makes no sense. But, there's only one Mick, and that's who he is. And, I mean, even if that meeting happened, the way it went, he must have, he sounded like he treated her like shit, like he was talking down to her. And it's like, yeah, I can imagine how that meeting didn't go well. So I don't know. Well, as we're talking about Mick, let's just move on to how this all got started. And it's
can I just one point, Sheldon? In Mick's DM to Big Cat, how he started it, I just want to point out was, you probably don't know who I am. Like, in order for Mick to DM Big Cat has to follow Mick, which I did confirm Big Cat does follow Mick. So it's even that. It's like he can't get out of his own way. He's putting himself down. I don't know. Just I had to point that out. Like, yes, he probably does know who you are because he's Big Cat and he does actually follow you.
There's only one Mick.
I think that's his way to grab the attention.
Yeah, that's fair.
Grab Big Cat. Didn't work because he didn't see it.
He should have just DM'd Kirk and Big. He should have created a group chat with Kirk and Big Cat, and because he knew Kirk was going to get it anyways, right?
That was my favorite part though. And he's like, Kirk, you've already seen this, I'm sure. I'm sure you're gonna got your hands on it.
Humor you or what? Yeah.
I wish he would have read that whole thing out. There's something in there that he didn't want to share. Obviously,
oh, definitely.
Blah blah blah. Like, okay.
I've been carrying Kirk's show for.
All right, so that takes us to Monday, when we had special guests Dave Cullinane, aka Turtle Rider, and Mut. Now, I don't know how you guys felt, but I thought Dave was a big zero on Monday, but Mut tugged at the heartstrings. Like, I don't know what you guys thought about that, but I mean, that got deep and it got serious, and I was listening. I was like, Kirk, you need to stop talking about this. Like, talk to him off the line about it.
Which he did say, I think today that he I think it was today or yesterday. He said he talked to Mut.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know what that. Yeah, I don't want to guess what that conversation was like, but yeah, I think Kirk picked up the same thing. I mean, saying like you don't have the will to live, kind of a red flag, maybe.
Oh, you don't have a purpose, and
yeah, right.
And then your dad's asking you if you need money. I mean,
through email of the Substack.
Oh, I mean, I love Mut, but that hurt me. I need something to happen with Mut.
I think if Barstool is trying to do the DraftKings, what is it, DK horse? I don't know anything about horse racing, and Dave brought it up on the Unnamed show too. If they do a podcast with Elio kind of running it, I think he would throw it to Mut. I think Kirk would jump in, and Dave would probably give him a chance. I hope he would. That'd be great.
Yeah, I guess it depends what they want. Like, if they just want a crazy show that's centered around Elio and it happens to be about horse racing, maybe just have Elio like record like Steve from Gloucester on his phone. But if you want an actual like gambling, like that's where Mike can kind of be more of a host. And I mean, that is kind of, he is a natural host. Like you can't deny that. Yeah, I mean, I'd obviously listen to that podcast. I listen to anything Mut does. Mut and Cullinane, like, it seems like it's not going to happen. The No Brainer show, that's my name that I want to take off. I saw someone tweet it, but No Brainer with Dave and Mut. I mean, that who would not listen to that?
I would listen to that show. Mut is great on the show. He's good with Kirk.
Yeah.
He's good with whoever the guest is. I mean, it just flows. I mean, he is good. And, you know, as much as Kirk rips on him and says how terrible he is, he still was like trying to help him on the unnamed show. Like, you know, if they're going to do anything with horse races, he was thinking about Mut because he knows like that's something Mut is good at and he enjoys horse racing. So, I mean, I need Mut on the network. Mut needs to be on. No,
not the network.
No. I need Mut in the world.
Yes. I mean, yeah, Kirk said it like he should get more involved. I feel like he's been more involved like on Twitter replying to people than he has. I mean, maybe he saw like, okay, this Ziggy guy's not so bad. Like maybe other people aren't so bad. So, and I don't know if you guys got, I don't know if you guys got followed by Mike Mut this week.
I did.
I saw that notification and yeah, that was a tough one to read, to like double check. Oh, Mut. Okay. I get it. Very funny. But anyway,
I've been there. I get duped by every fucking account. This
Well,
morning I tweeted at Coleman. It was a whole mess. But I've said it before when I was in there, and I think it's more real now. And I think Kirk's going to say that I'm an idiot for even saying it. Fred and Hardy isn't working at the Sports Hub. Mut is going to bring in more of an audience than Hardy ever would, and you can probably pay him less. And if that's not working, bring Mut in. We're going to at least listen. You're going to at least get a Minifan audience. And the program director seems like he follows Kirk, so he can be able to piece that together.
Yeah,
that's my pitch. I'm sticking to it. Probably will never happen, but it would be a better fit than what they have now. Even if it stinks, we would just tune it.
Yeah, I don't know. We can move on from Mut because I know he gets everyone giving him advice. I'm with Dave. Like, just provide more content, more audio, more video. Like, I don't think he's very willing to be the butt of the joke. And I don't know if that's what's holding him back. Like, he doesn't want to be made fun of, but he's going to be made fun of. Everyone gets made fun of in this world. I think the more content he can provide, the better. And just one point on Dave. It wasn't his best show. I think someone called him low T. I don't remember who that was.
John Warren.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't think
I looked over his notes today and I just saw low T Dave highlighted. I'm like, Harry, yeah, that's great.
I think so. Dave does not like listen every day. I don't think he pretends to listen every day, but I think when he's on the show, he's a little bit wary of saying something that'll get him caught in that, like, I don't really know what's going on. So he's a little more guarded and he kind of picks and chooses his spots. So that's just kind of my take there. I don't think he's getting the notification at 9:30 and like listening to the whole show. I think he comes in and out, which is great. Like, it's fine, whatever. But I think that's why you don't get like the Dave that was in when he was a producer.
Yeah, I could do that.
I mean, he's always entertaining. There was nothing new. And I am so tired of hearing about this Turtle Boy story that I don't understand.
No.
And he's never really explained it.
Well, there's no way Dave understands it, to be fair. There's no way.
I don't think anyone fully understands
except
it.
for your buddy Dan.
I'll get killed for that. Yeah,
except for your buddy Dan Katz.
Yeah, Dan digs it.
But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the Monday show, there was some fallout over the weekend that stupid fucking Andy Mayo was blocked by Kirk. Now, why was that, Ziggy?
Well, first off, Sheldon, we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up maybe the first compliment Kirk's ever given you was you yelling at Andy. So congratulations. I did want to ask.
Thank you. I did enjoy
whose life are you going to ruin tonight on this episode?
Big week for Sheldon.
And I did have a written joke that.
Did Andy Mayo write it for you?
No, not this one. That Andy was pulling his air conditioners out of storage all week. Because he's down bad.
Trapped.
He's down bad. And yeah, I said it last week, like he should not have brought it up. He should have brought it up on the show, obviously. I think it's classic Mayo, like analysis by paralysis. Pat, you can use that in your office strips. Like, that's a buzzword. Drips in the office. Paralysis by analysis. Just overthinking. Like, I think his thought was, okay, if I go into KMS and I bring up that I was doing stand-up and it's like kind of related to my bit, like he saw that as him being a self-promoter and he didn't want to get shit on for that. So I think that's where he's coming from. Obviously a bad decision, but it doesn't make him like a bad guy.
No, it does.
He's obviously frustrating and annoying, but he's not a bad guy. So
no, he is.
And he wasn't the one texting the text line going after Mutt's family or whatever. That was not him. But he did email Erica Nardini about his podcast. I think he tried to get her on his podcast.
Yeah, and
recently?
No, that was a joke. So I was winking and nodding, but you can't see it.
The other thing that so Mayo was getting so much hate, which I enjoyed, and then Ziggy was getting shrapnel. It was like the best show ever. And then I messaged the rundown chat and I said, this show's awesome. And then Ziggy's like, I'm catching shrapnel. And you're loving it.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's it. It's like, I didn't have the video until it was tweeted out, like 100%. I knew about it, but I didn't think there was anything to do with the fact that Mayo, and I also didn't know, like, did he want it out there? Obviously he did. I was mad he didn't give it to me instead of giving it to Menners. Like, that was my big issue with him. But yeah, he should have brought up the show in hindsight, but
the real kick in the pants is him using a line from the stand-up special on the show. That's what did him in. He used one of, I forget exactly what line it was, but he kind of recycled it on the show. Yeah. And that would have been the time where you kind of bring that up and run with it. And like that's what pissed Kirk off.
Do you think we'll see Mayo in studio or Steve from Gloucester in studio?
We'll see Steve first, but we'll see Mayo again.
Yeah, I think eventually.
I hope
a break is fine. A Mayo break is fine.
Yeah,
like good for everyone.
We should take like a 3-year break, like 2027, and then Mayo can come back. That's what I.
Right. When Mick's running the show or Montante's running the show,
it'll be Montante. So we're not going to talk about that though. So
one thing I've always wondered too, one thing I struggle with my career and my job is I never know whether to call a meeting or just to send an email. So his podcasts have been very helpful. He posted basically a little phone tree on what to do on his LinkedIn. So yeah, I've learned a lot from that. I brought that to work today.
I think we'll get to Drips in the Office later, but it's a total dunk on Mayo to have a show that's like promoted by the Kirk Minahan show that's centered around office life and the do's and don'ts. And that's just a total dunk on Mayo.
Okay.
Poor Mayo.
No, not poor Mayo. He got everything.
I know.
Okay. We're moving on. We're moving on. So then we move on to Tuesday, and we have Mick and Gus, newly employed Andrew Augustus, and we got Mick fresh off his Rubik's Cube.
High as a kite. high as a kite and high on life.
I mean, it's like he worked for Kirk, and he also has listened to Kirk. Did he really think smoking a blunt in downtown Boston and then smelling a weed and then bringing weed into the studio, Kirk wasn't going to notice? Yeah, it's in my backpack. He's like, why? I got an easy day. Augustus, every day you have is an easy day. I mean, holy shit, dude. You're not working in the salt mines. Like, I don't understand. Whatever. What are your guys' thoughts on that whole, we'll just call it a scene. It's a scene. And then nobody can figure out how to open a window, which, okay, go on. Patrick, go ahead.
I'm not surprised by it at all. He's the same kid that thinks he's got 60K waiting for him just to jump on Twitch and talk about weed. So
50K. 50K.
Is it 50K? I thought I heard 60.
60K is what Julie wanted per month, I think.
Yeah, I think it was bi-monthly, but we won't get into the details of that. She's rich. No, it's funny, and like you said, he should know these things, but his brain just doesn't work like that. Like, he doesn't put 2 and 2 together. And the best part was, like, he's like, "No, did you smoke outside?" He was like, "No, I was in the streets. I was just in the streets of Boston. Like, I went downtown Boston just to smoke a J, and then I decided to come on into the studio. Jumped on the train."
He did say it was the good stuff that Kirk was smelling, the good stuff for later that Kirk was.
That was in his bag.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the roach that he burned before he got in.
Yeah. Do you think he'll do a salt mine simulator when he's pumping these cannabis dispensaries?
He's power washing, he's landscaping. Yeah. Why not? Add it to the list.
Just $50K to do a lawnmower simulator, and what was it? Market weed or cannabis, whatever the fuck it is. It's just...
And he said that's like the marketing's the main job. But do you think he kind of really sold himself on, like, I have 4,000 followers, like, this really big podcast loves me, so I'll also do this Twitch stuff on the side. I mean, we know he's a good self-salesman. He's gotten a lot of jobs, to his credit.
He has gotten a lot of jobs.
He's asked Tom Brady a great question. I had to ask it twice, but I wouldn't have been much clearer if I were to ask that question. Which is funny that the response from Brady to Gus, like, that was one of the handful of responses Brady gave that actually made headlines, because he was like hemming and hawing, and it was really thinking about his answer. But was he really thinking about his answer? Because he was like, am I actually, like, did I hear the question correctly? Am I answering the question that I was actually asked? Or
Tom Brady,
I'm sure
stumped by Andrew Augustus.
Brady's just, he can't keep up. He can't
Also,
keep up. Doesn't have the mental fortitude.
When I found that question, I went back to Gus's like tweets from that day, and so he's like live tweeting the whole thing, and then he has one like, "Oh, I just asked Brady a question," and then the next day he has a tweet like, "If anyone in the Rhode Island area is looking for snow shovelers, like hit me up. I'm cheap and doing good job."
He's one of a kind, man.
That's Gus. That's all you can really say about Gus.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall during that job interview. The guy on the other end of the phone in India is like, "Yeah, just give me your bank account info. We'll set you up for direct deposit." And he's just gonna get fucking scammed.
I don't think he thought it was real, and they kept going. And then I think as the day went on, he's like, "God, maybe this isn't real."
I still think he thinks it's real.
This website, like the links don't work, Gus. And like you're going.
No, hey, he already asked about that. That's all squared away. He asked. That was the first thing he asked. That was great. He can't help but lie.
So we had Hi Augustus, and then we had Mick in studio, and I thought it was a good appearance by Mick, but you can't give him a compliment because he'll just remember the one random thing that somebody said bad about him. Oh, yeah. And sure, Dave Collinane calls in, losing his mind. What are your thoughts on that, Ziggy?
I mean, well, Mick was great, but Dave was like the star. It was a bright star. It shone very bright and then exploded. But that call from Dave was up there with the, like I was in yesterday was similar to the, he said yes yesterday from Mick. It's similar to it's up there with the Menners, like on the main show, like some of the all-time drops. Yeah, I mean, Mick, again, it's like, I believe that he was mad that he saw Montante was the first person to retweet it. Like, I think that's part of his brain that is like,
he's like, oh, what the fuck is this? They were talking about it?
Right.
I thought I was going to produce it. Why the fuck is he retweeting it?
Yeah, he immediately saw that and said, nope, he's the producer. Dave's fucking me.
I'm still a Cole man and I love Justin, but part of me does wish we had the Eminem boys because just seeing how like how mad he got at Montante, like if we had them in there, Mick would have imploded in 2 weeks maybe. I thought he would have had like a 6-month shelf life, but if Kirk pitted them against each other, it would have been just over like before it started.
But that gave us a great David and Marilyn video when he superimposed it.
That's so good.
That was good.
That's so good.
I didn't see it until they said on the show that I went and watched it, and I
didn't either.
Dying.
The best line by Dave was the part where he's screaming, and he's like, "Well, Dante's not sensitive." You can tell that one right on Mick's ass too.
Oh my god! It reminded me of that freak out from Mel Gibson, though. Seriously.
Yeah.
When he was yelling at his wife or whatever, he's like, "You should just shut up and blow me." No, that was a different one.
There's been a couple, yeah, that's true. I think that was Alec Baldwin, actually. Yeah.
Oh, he's like, "Fuck, I need a cigarette." God, Mick just brings it out. Like you just want to lose it sometimes. And I like the guy, but he'll drive you crazy. He'll drive you to the brink of wanting to murder him, but you can't because you just like the guy. And I think Dave was there driving probably to his job that I don't know what he does for a fucking thing either. Does anyone work around in this world?
So remember the Barstool Radio where Whitney called in and he had his kids in the car and he had to pull over?
Oh my god.
That's what it reminded me of. He definitely had Jason. God, I can't even remember his daughter's name now. I don't know.
She's a terror.
Yeah.
Remember?
But anyway, yeah, that's what it reminded me of. Like, the kids were definitely in the car for that rant.
Whitney's wife was so mad at him.
Yeah, that was a all-time one.
Mick has the innate ability to just piss. Hey, he made Mike lose his mind. He made Dave lose his mind the other day, and I think I lost my mind before I started to like Mick. Before I was just irrationally mad at him. Like he's just got that ability to just really get under people's skin.
That's why Blind Mike had that perfect quote where he's like, "Been there."
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
I messaged Mick after that show, and I gotta say it quietly because I'll probably get in trouble. But I was like, buddy, you're gonna look back at this in 10 years, and your girlfriend or wife is gonna be like, I'm going on vacation. And you're gonna be like, you have a great time. I'm gonna get you in the car. I'll drive you to the airport. You have fun, and you're just gonna fucking be thrilled. Like you need to step back a little bit here. I hope that wasn't
when his whole excuse was like, well, that doesn't sound like somebody who's ready to move in with me then. And it's like, what are you talking about, Mick?
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about? His thought process sometimes I can't handle. I can't process it. I'm like Gus, just trying to form a sentence. Like, but in my mind, it's nuts.
So
I mean, I don't want to. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't want to say this because it'll probably give him it'll give him extra motivation. He's the right level of he's gonna land somewhere. Like something's gonna it worked out for Clemmer. I'm not saying Barstool necessarily, but somebody's gonna pick it up and be like, this kid's fucking crazy. Like we can use him somehow. I don't want him to take that the wrong way. And like
the Barstool comparison that I kind of see is that Nicky Smokes kid who just freaks out and then goes viral for it, but he doesn't really bring anything to the table other than that. Like his own stuff isn't good, but well, yeah. Oh, there you go for Mick, powdered sugar. So I don't know. That's the only thing that I could kind of see, because again, it's the bright star. It just would flame out. Like he wouldn't. If he's being hired to be the crazy guy, you can't be the crazy guy 24/7.
You can't. So, I've seen Frank the Tank.
That's true.
No, you shut up. You don't.
I don't think Mick's a Frank the Tank, but
no, he's not. Oh my god. Quick. No, and then was there any last thoughts on the Mick and Gus dynamic? They do not like each other, but I have been seeing it looks cordial so far tonight at Burgers and Brews that everyone was late to.
Have they already showed up? Yeah, is everybody?
They were chummy. Coleman was late, but they all looked buddy.
Oh, okay.
Montante.
We move into the best third chair. Michael Montante. No, he is. It's a fact. The show started out with Kirk losing his mind.
He was the best one on that. He was the best one on that Thursday episode.
I just blind Mike can't see, and he's like, "Am I in danger?" And Montante's like, "No, you're okay."
I gotcha.
Mike's got his life flashing before his eyes, and he's got Michael Montante there to protect him. It was
kind of like a 29K type of bad decision by Justin, just on a much smaller scale, like leaving the windows open for 24 hours and then turning the heat on for 2 hours and expecting it to go from probably 50 degrees to 70 in 2 hours. It's just doesn't work that way.
I thought Coleman doesn't live that far from the studio. He could have just told Coleman to go over there before he went to bed to shut the windows.
That was way too early for Coleman.
Oh my god, that was unbelievable. But I mean, that show, so it starts out with Kirk throwing water bottles and God knows what else, because I don't watch the show because I'm actually working as I'm listening. And then you're like, God, this is going to be a short show. But then Montante just comes in, and if somehow he doesn't get rattled during any of this, and he just wants to talk about fucking tires and his car, and they always try and move on from his stories, but you're going to hear Montante's stories because he's there to be on. So what did you guys think of the dynamic with Mike and Montante? Start with you, Ziggy.
They said it was like, I think Kirk said it was like he was on a late night appearance and he had his prepared stuff, because at one point he was like, all right, let's get back to the car talk, to the car jokes. Like he had his written jokes, but that's fine, be prepared, that's great. I'm not surprised. We kind of knew those that were at the first Saco may remember Montante shows up with the cleanest Timberland boots you've ever seen. So him cosplaying as a blue collar guy that kind of fit the mold. Not knowing how to change a tire, should he, at being a scrapyard guy? Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised he hasn't been in a situation where he runs over a nail in a junkyard and he has to call triple. What does he do there? Does he call AAA?
Okay, well, most cars don't have full size spare tires, so he had a hole in his regular tire. Did you expect him to drive back to New Jersey on a fucking donut, Ziggy?
No, but
that's what I thought. So
you could. I mean, some people know how to patch a tire. Maybe you don't, Sheldon. I don't know, but some people know how to patch their own tire.
I certainly don't.
Well, John and Lauren doesn't know how to change a tire, apparently, which is
lying to the lady.
Oh, that is so funny. Oh God, yeah. She's probably like, this dumb piece of shit. I'm out here changing his tire, and then he's trying to make excuses. So that had me dying.
The part that stuck out to me, Montante is just such a company guy. He's like, yeah, I expense the money. All he does is drive. He drives from fucking New Jersey to Boston every other week. And he's like, yeah, I get some of the miles, not all of them, Every once in a while I pay a toll. Sometimes I just don't.
Yeah, I don't have Easy Pass because, fuck them. And it's you still have to pay it, though. I don't even get it. Oh, my God.
I think the direct quote was, Easy Pass bills get lost every once in a blue.
Yeah.
Every once in a blue. I like the idea of him crossing the Tappan Zee Bridge singing Christopher Cross songs. Just going back and forth.
Oh, no. And what did he say? He used to be a garbage man? So he was blue collar.
He probably drove the truck. He probably didn't throw it in the back.
That's still blue collar work, though.
But he's a cat guy. He's a cat sitter, cat guy, just like I am. But do you? I did have a question. I did have a question on that. Like, there's no doubt when he's cat sitting, he's putting the catnip on his nuts, right?
Yeah.
No, that's hearsay. No.
Who doesn't?
Oh my God. Anyways, no. So we can all agree that the best third chair is Mike Montante.
I mean, that show he was like Blind Mike. He was a little rattled, I think, from the beginning.
Mike doesn't count.
Oh no, yeah, I'm just saying that he didn't really bring that like that. There was nothing really memorable.
He was good. He was still in Lauren Compton mode. Yeah, I get it. Fair. She's a talent.
That's fair.
She is a talent. I
think he's terrified for that to come out.
Reddit loves her.
Oh my God. It sounds brutal, to be honest with you.
I'm looking forward to listening. He's gonna be so uncomfortable.
It's gonna be. I mean, needs to be the entire episode is them just going like second by second. Pause.
Oh, I wouldn't be remiss if like we've been having shows with no callers, which I think has been great, and we had to have callers on the Mick Gus show, and we got one good call out of that, and it was President Trump.
Dan
Anyways.
I saw people saying it was like a subpar Trump call. I thought it was pretty good because he had material on Coleman and Mick that he hadn't used before.
But compared to all the other callers, it was amazing. They should have ended after that one.
I think from a content perspective, the best calls were like the guy who would come on and be like, "Yeah, I don't know, Coleman's just not a good producer." Like,
fuck you, asshole!
Well, fuck you, buddy. Like,
you know who that was?
You've been waiting for this.
No, who was it?
I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that was the Dave's dead mother-in-law guy. It had the same cadence, and so I'm pretty sure that was him. So if that is the case, I mean, that guy's not going away. So he's going to keep coming back.
Persistent. He's persistent, as we've learned over the years.
I did get flashbacks to some of my calls to Steve, because I think one time I had a call, and like the first time Steve really blew up on me, and it was a similar like the voice just like changing, and I don't know what word Steve called me. But the difference is Coleman can kind of calm down a little bit. With Steve, like 2 episodes later, he's saying my first name on the show. It's like Coleman clearly hates this guy. But I don't know if he would go to those lengths that Steve did. So I think that's like the difference is Steve saw like me and then like Menners and Mayo and people going after him, and then saw like all Men fans are like this. I don't think Coleman has that same like, all right, all Men fans are like this one guy that's going after me.
No, I don't think so. But it was just funny because he would just blow up, and then Kirk nailed it the next show. He's like, "Yeah, I already killed Coleman," and then Justin comes in and tackles him again. Like he just has to bury him. It's like he's already dead. Like, stop it. But I don't know. I like the dynamic of those two, and I think it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think they're getting into a good spot. I think Justin's been a lot more. I think he was off when he first came back. Like there was some weird moments where he like didn't want to talk about stuff. Now I feel like he's more like himself, and it helps the dynamic of those two when he's more.
And the sound has been a lot better, and the stream's been better from when I can listen.
Well, today was a little sketchy to start. Like you had to
but they're not dropping shows.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they got the Rumble issue.
I mean, when you pay $4,300 a month for internet, you should probably have something that works.
It's insane what they pay for internet. I don't get how that's even possible.
It's crazy.
Oh my God. And that building is such a piece of shit. It's insane to me. Oh my God. So did we have anything else from the Ed McMahon show on Thursday? I mean, Montante is at Ed McMahon, FYI.
I did. We heard like Montante tweeted out that poll for that Minifan. I'm curious like what his going rate is for promoting tweets, because I'm sure he's.
I'm sure that guy's a nice guy, but imagine me like, I gotta get this out. I gotta figure out who to send this to.
It's killing me. It's killing me. This isn't getting more interaction. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a whole thing with Clemmer and Montante. I don't know where all this inside information was coming. Patrick, you got any thoughts on that? Because I don't know who else I'd even talk to about it.
I can't put my finger on it, but it's.
I took a lot of shots. I took shrapnel, but I also took some direct shots. But I mean, if the truth is on my side, which it is, I don't care, because what I said on the rundown last week was there was drama between Montante and Clemmer, and that was partly why Clemmer left, and that is like 100% fact. I don't really know why Clemmer denied it. I didn't send Clemmer's DM to Kirk because I like Clemmer. So I didn't want to like cross that boundary. I will read some of it if you want. So this is the DM from Clemmer. Cause again, he left the league. I was like, people want to know, like, why did you leave? We all like playing with you. I know Montante got pissed at me last year. Blah, 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 blah. It didn't seem worth the headache, and I didn't do a great job setting my lineup. Blah, 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 blah. And the important part, you do a great job running the league, Ziggy. And that was pretty much it. Wow. And that is true. That's what he said. There was some stuff that I won't say. Blah, blah, blah. And it's funny because Mike like literally encapsulated it perfectly. That part of it was, Chris is too busy for it. And then he took a little bit of shit from Montante on the main show last year. And then he didn't like that, and it wasn't worth his effort getting mad at him, and he left. So I was right. There was drama, right?
Yeah, there was. I'm trying to think. It probably was right around the same time too.
And and Clemmer, like IDM Kirk, was lying. Like Montante did play a role in Clemmer leaving, but I don't think they hate. I think Montante thought that Clemmer hated him, and Clemmer thought that Montante hated him. But I don't think either.
Really. I remember they were in studio together at one point when like one of Clemmer's first shows back, and it started off like, "Oh, you hate me? No, you hate me."
Right.
And it was
wasn't Montante producing? Like, wasn't that during the?
Yeah, I think he was.
Oh,
I think he was.
Right.
I think that was one of his first like auditions.
That was kind of contentious, if I remember right. But I would just like to say that. It's obviously poor leadership from the commissioner, because I'm in a fantasy league that Clemmer is still in, and the one and only Rich Mandarin is the best commissioner that I know for fantasy sports.
Who?
Don't worry about it. He's got the stars in there yet. We have Clemmer and me and other people. I'm not going to say more.
Yes or no? Do you have Kirk's maps in there?
No.
I mean, Kirk, I will say this, is more than welcome to join the league. He definitely wants in the league. Like, how many times did he say, all right, who's in this league? Like, I think he's got
It's because you messaged him like 100 times about it.
No, that's not it. I don't beg. Except
you literally begged.
I'm begging. That was on behalf of the league. People just want him in there. But Kirk's more than welcome. This isn't going to be a Kim Jong-un situation where he's playing 18 holes and getting 18 hole-in-ones. Like, he's on equal footing as everyone else. He made a comment today how he would, he wants to pick his own spot or something. No. We're all on equal page. Andy Nolan can help him out. I did confirm Andy Nolan is like a legitimate. He's got some bona fides in the NFBC. So we'll see what happens. I'm not holding my breath, but we'll see. But he's welcome. But I run a tight ship, so it's not a Mickey Mouse league. I'm like Rich Mandarin's OMG DAC league or whatever.
Yeah, you just leave Rich Mandarin alone. If we said some of the stuff to you that we say to Rich Mandarin, there's no way you would want anyone in the league. Trust me.
Montante throws a lot around in that group chat. Pat's seen it now.
Yeah. Yeah. I want Mutt in the league. That'll be great. And he said he'll do it if Kirk's in there. And then I want to buy his team, so I have stake in both leagues.
You got to front him.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that.
So it wasn't.
I used to listen to Mutt at night. I know he knows what he's talking about. So I'm very confident.
So it wasn't the longest show on Thursday because we had to get to the unnamed show, which literally ran right into the unnamed show because Montante wouldn't stop talking, and then Coleman doesn't know common baseball rules. So we would go into the unnamed show, and is Mincy is he like Barstool's Gus or something like that? Because there's a lot of similarities, except somehow Mincy keeps making money and they back him $50,000. These guys are down backing him to play shitty poker. Like, I just don't get it. And then
I think he's said in the past he has won one of those big tournaments. Like, I think he's won like 6 figures at one of these events.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's why people are backing him. But he even tweeted something out today. Like, I made a lot of mistakes when I was in college 4 years ago. I was like, buddy, you were in college 4 fucking years ago? Like, no way.
I think he's younger I think he's younger than us. He ain't that old.
That's wild. I had him for like mid-40s. Him and Brandon Walker I had tied for age. But yeah, he is the Barstool's Gus. He just can't figure it out.
I did like when he said he was going to donate $1,000. He had already tweeted that in a video earlier in the week, so it wasn't like he was dropping the hammer. But yeah, that
Dave's like 1/14. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Get him out.
That's why when he's the best in that spot, because he's just chirping like They said like these backers like back a 3-legged dog or something.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't bring up like going back and forth. It's similar to Mick. Like, is he in on it or is he not? Is Mincy smart? Is he not? Like, you can't not be thinking ahead and have some level of intelligence to do pretty well at poker. So like, he's not an absolute dunce like he plays off. So
I think he's just not street smart.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they always say that about Frank. They're like, Frank's smarter than you
it's
think.
the same,
He knows what's going on. Yeah,
right.
I think Minzy does not know what's going on.
I think it was their best unnamed show though, because like
Yeah.
Dave did come with topics, Kirk had topics. I
He
thought the
avoided that
Mincy
dog.
drama. Yeah, I know that was good. That was good talk too. Like it was. They waited till the end.
I like how he says something, and that's all I'm going to say. Cook's like, all right, come on, let's do it.
Yeah.
No, that's all I'm going to say. No, we almost made it all the way through. Come on.
Was it this show? He was like, "Oh, I'll donate $1,000." Kirk's like, "I would donate to like the dog." Whitney's like, "No, I'm not."
yeah. Would you do that, Whitney? He's like, not a fucking chance. So, and then the Minifans got brought up again because somehow we can agree that Dave didn't give anyone Whitney's number, right? Dave wouldn't do that.
I don't think so. No.
I mean, who else would though? My friend Dan thinks it's Kirk.
There's ways. I mean, there's
no
ways
way.
for people to if they really want to get someone's number, they'll get someone's number.
If you listen to Spittin' Chicklets, literally someone been texting Biz as an old Ranger or an old Islanders player that hates him. So they called it on the show, and it was just some fucking random kid that found his number on the internet. And then he was scared shitless. He's like, I wasn't trying to fuck with you, Biz. I'm sorry. And then he's like, I was kind of just looking for a job. And it's like, oh my God. So I mean, it's possible to find, and then they're like, I gotta end the show, I gotta scrub my number off the internet.
It is a funny bit. It's a good bit to say that you're that guy because it's believable that Dan and Newton would do that. Like they bring up Turtle Boy.
Turtle Boy. Yeah.
Well, I think I messaged Ford. I'm like, what the fuck is the matter with your buddy? Because when he said that, yeah, you got to bring up Turtle Boy on the unnamed show, and I'm like,
he's like, I swear to you, it's not me.
That was unbelievable. So
Whitney's from around like where me and Dan are from, so he's got a buddy that knows Whitney. So he texted his buddy texted Whitney. It's like that's not the real guy.
I think this guy is the guy that pretends to be Dan.
Well, and Whitney responded to that guy. He's like, damn. He's like, whoever it is, I hate that guy's fucking guts.
I believe Kirk's had to change his number like 5 times since the show started because people are fucking nuts.
I can imagine.
Oh my God. And then Whitney's getting people pretending to be a Dan from Newton who
caller.
It's a whole wormhole to go down. But I thought that was the best unnamed show, and the audio issues weren't nearly as bad as last week and the first week.
And Coleman's ass looked great in the camera too.
Is that his ass or was that his left tit? I thought it was his.
Wow.
I think
kind of morphed together.
That was funny though. The right away, like get the fuck out of here.
This fucking guy. He's catching a beating.
And then we come in to the main show. We have the Drip Lord and the Faucet.
Yes.
I mean, the most electric show in sports entertainment.
Thank you.
And everyone was looking forward to it. And like, on Thursday, Kirk's like, we're going to do a show. And Blind Mike's like, I'd like to hear that. Okay, good enough. And then we have John and Warren, and we have the Drip Lord. Patrick,
I knew.
We were the minor leagues for you guys, right? Like you cut your teeth, you gain your chemistry on the rundown, and then we unleashed
it's true.
Yeah,
it's like when we got there, we knew each other already. I knew it was going to be a good show when Thursday night I got a group message from Menners with all his demands of the stuff that he wanted us to promote, using us as his Trojan horse. I'm like, all right, even if I got nothing, I got something. This is going to roll with. He is a crazy person.
But that burned a hole in your pocket because you just pulled it out like right from the
I know. I couldn't hold it in. I'm like, this is going to be good. I know this is going to be good.
I was listening. You're like, yeah, I got something. And then you just read it so fucking monotone.
Kirk's like, what is this bit? What is this bit?
Are you doing a bit now? Is this a bit?
As an agent of chaos, I have to give respect. That was good agent of chaos instincts to just read it straight.
And he messaged us like 20 minutes later, traitor.
It was the narrative of the whole show, too. It was great.
I know. It was awesome.
So then we just had Kirk yelling at Menners and Mayo. Somehow Mayo was still in there.
Got trap metal, yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds like the network is going down. I don't know.
It's not what I intended as a guy who watches every network show. That was not my intention going into it, but if this can get transferred over to the main show and everything else, golden.
I think our stance is like the rundown is a show about the Kirk Minahan show, so we will go where the Kirk Minahan show wants us to go. It's as simple as that. I mean, Menner's always says like
too.
Drifts in the office. I mean, we are simpatico, like hand in hand. Crips in the blood, just holding up those hankies. Menner's always says like he just wants to provide content for as many people as possible. I know he tweeted. I mean, he must have been gritting his teeth tweeting it, but like, what better way to provide content to as many Minute fans as possible? And I agree. I did see he did delete the tweet today that they referenced and they quote tweeted on the main show where he was like correcting them about the network versus the show YouTube, but he did he went back and deleted that tweet.
And then he waited hours later to quote tweet it that it was an honor that the show would want to steal so many network shows. And it's like, oh my God. And I know I've said this before, but the network used to be way bigger at the beginning. So it's not doing the best it's ever been. It's just a fucking fact. Like, I know I mentioned this on a show a couple weeks ago, and Kirk said it today, and he is absolutely right. And I got to ask, Ford, how sad were you when Kirk said that John and Warren was his best friend? and you were sitting there.
I consider John a friend, so I was happy for him. And we talked before the show. I was like, who's sitting in that main chair? Because whoever it is going to get trap metal thinking they're better than the other one. So I just jumped in the other chair. That could have been me, even though it wasn't. But yeah, it hurt, but it's okay. I'm happy for John. I didn't know they were so close.
John played into that bit very well.
Yeah, John's good.
You guys were great. Yeah, I mean, Pat, you had a line early on. I don't know if, well, actually, yeah, it was your audios. Your levels were a little low. It wasn't, I don't think your fault, but you had a line about the dying guy looking like Santa Claus on those Zeppelin. I don't know how many people heard it because
I heard that.
You had to have your earbuds up full max, but that was good. That was a good line.
I like when
John's notes was funny too, and
when they were talking about the road trips and stuff, and John's like, yeah, like when you were letting me drive those Mercedes, and Kirk's like, okay, buddy. He's like, I do the fucking jokes, okay? I'm just like, oh my God, it was so.
I also liked
funny.
When they're talking about your tattoos, and then you said you almost got a Nike tattoo on the other side, and that's when Justin Coleman were like gasped, like that was no offense, but like that would be so much worse than the polo.
Oh, that's so much worse than a fucking Ralph Lauren polo, the exact size of the logo on my tit. Yeah,
and then you and Kirk was like, you and Gus would be homies, and you were just like, yeah, you're so despondent.
I went to a stage.
I was like, I got to see these pictures because I go and look and I'm like, holy
don't worry, people found them quick.
But you had to know that was going to happen.
I did, but like I said, my Instagram is the same name as my Twitter, so I was like, all right, the first couple I'm like, oh, those are probably from, but they're from way back when. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, these aren't from my Instagram. Like, where are these coming from? Okay, I'm just going to lean into this one completely.
Are we worried that Justin doesn't know how big children are?
Oh, that was I was like cackling 95 to 125 pounds.
He's like, yeah, they get that big at some point. Yeah, they get there at some point. Like, they're not using diapers at that phase. I hope. I mean, if that happens to me, I'm screwed. But
just throw them away, Justin. You don't need to save
if your kid wants diapers.
Oh my God.
I do have a buddy who has like a 3 or 4 year old kid who's like $110.
Oh my God,
boy. I mean, maybe Justin was that big. It is possible. So maybe he's got some repressed memories of being in that size, extra large diaper. I think, was it you or John? It's like, I don't think those are how the sizes.
That was me. I'm like, no, some of the kids, they don't do it that way.
Yeah.
I thought it was nice that Kirk said, yeah, when Bubba dies, is that his grandpa's name?
It's Bubba,
yeah. That he'll give him a day off to grieve. I thought that was very nice of him.
He's just not even holding back. He's like, no, I'm gonna kill myself.
That's probably what he would want, anyways.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I was like, no, he's like, no, I'll kill myself.
But then I was like, you might get the house. He's like, oh, it's actually true. Yeah, no,
no, I think we're gonna
hang on,
sell the house. Like, my God.
So when you, Pat, on your notes, did you want to shoehorn in like that your wife is expecting and that you lost 4 fish recently? Because you made sure to come back to the fish thing.
Yeah, the fish is something I definitely want to touch on. The fish bladder is insane. I can't stop. Like because I didn't know what was happening as a fish owner. Pardon me, we're like going on a bit of a fish rant here, but I didn't know what was happening. These things were just floating upside down, like not to the surface. So they're not dead, but poor bastards, man. They lasted for like 3 days.
You did say, I think, that you get them because your son likes them, but how long have you had these fish? Like, was your 3-month-old son like really into fish? I think you're just a fish guy. Just own it. You're a fish guy.
So it's twofold. He likes fishies, as he calls them.
Yep.
And then I saw an opportunity to get a fish tank. I had one growing up, so it was very nostalgic. So I grabbed a 10-pack of fish, and I'm stuck with 6 right now. They're all healthy, and we're in a good spot. No more fish bladder. I changed the water.
So it's your fault. Okay.
You're just a fish guy. It's fine.
Yeah. So I didn't add that part, but you just said, Ziggy, it's my fault. The fish that I have to be in temperatures of 76 to 79. Didn't know that. So I think that may have.
Whoops.
Yeah, they were cooking at about 70 for a while. So I take fault. Wow. So I wanted to get that off my chest too. All right, I'm all fished out. We can move on.
All right. And then there was a running theme throughout the day besides the electric pictures from Patrick Ford. and it sounds like the actual YouTube page for the Kirk Minahan show is taking on a bunch of shows. We got Little People, Big World Guy. We got the Drips in the Office. They have the Rundown. Mick's like, I'm pretty sure this is a joke. You guys are fucking with me. And it's like, just say yes, Mick. Who cares if they are? So, and then we'll have Beyond Average and his file size that is apparently bigger than the code that made the fucking atomic bomb. I don't know how he's writing it, but
BA tweeted out it's larger than GTA.
I think didn't Mick say that was like a troll job of Menners, like giving him a large file? I thought he said that on a show. Again, 3.3x speed.
I don't think he's ever denied the file size as being abnormally large.
No, I think he did that on purpose to give Menners a really large one to like fuck with him. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Don't forget about Justinia, new show on the
Justinia. He did not like that.
No, he did not like that.
Nah, I don't know why.
That was unbelievable. No, it was a good week of shows. We'll be heading into next week strong. We got any other random notes, boys?
I mean, do we? Yes. But going to next week with Steve. I mean, I guess I'm looking forward to it in the sense that we can do an episode next week and I can just tear him apart, tear everything you said apart. Anyway, I have like Baker's dozen random notes, so we should probably get moving.
Yeah, that's why I said
sure.
Random notes. Go ahead.
So Pat, you want to start us off, or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
All right. Did you hear the reason, or do you remember the reason that Justin gave for choosing Taylor Swift over Sydney Sweeney? Like if there's a gun to their head or something. The reason was because I think he said Taylor is mildly autistic.
Yeah, more.
Which they just like gloss past. I've never heard that one before. I don't know if that needs to be reached. And then Montante, I'm talking about someone else, said he's got a touch of the tism. So that was a new one for me. So I guess Justin's into that.
I've seen Taylor Swift a lot in the news. It never pops in my head like, yeah, she's great. She's autistic. I don't know where that came from.
Did he mean? Is it possible he meant artistic? Is it possible?
No, I'm pretty sure he meant
if that's
autistic.
the case, then it's rubber glue, because then he's autistic. If that's the case.
And then his Coleman impression and his Montante are like the same.
The Montante impression's great.
The best one was Kirk doing Justin's impression of Montante was my favorite.
Montante's like, okay, I'm starting to get a little offended. This is borderline offensive. God, unbelievable. What else you got, Ziggy?
I'll throw this one out there. Which is the biggest lie? Coleman laying pipe 2 months ago. Justin's gerbil story. And then I have to say, Kirk saying he knows how to change a tire, like that's for Gazy. There's no way. So I don't know. And then Pat, I do have to call you out, like classic Pat Ford gullible, believing Steve's Tig story. I mean, come on, that's like one of the top 10 Steve lies.
You don't believe? Oh, I believe. No. Steve's a psychopath.
No. Yeah, but those details, I know. There's an absolute fib.
Justin going outside and beating that gerbil to death with a shovel.
Yeah, he said his dad put like paper towels over.
He wrapped it up, and then he couldn't do it, so Justin grabbed the shovel and finished the job.
His dad was a cop. Like, I don't even know what to say to that.
And saying it was 2 years ago was the wildest part. Like if it was when he was 13, maybe.
The biggest lie is Coleman.
Yeah.
Just casually, it's been so long, man. It's been like 2 months. Yeah. It has that.
Sure.
More power to him if it has, but yeah, I looking back on it, I don't believe the Justin portion either. I just think Steve's nuts. I think Steve did that. In some way, shape, or form.
Maybe he's killed an animal, sure, but
he's killed a deer. There's a song about it.
If you believe it. If you believe it, sure. Stuff that whole thing in his trunk, sure.
Do you think we're gonna get? Do you think we're gonna get a different Steve from Gloucester? Is it next week? Did they commit to that yet?
I don't think Steve committed. I don't know if Kirk committed. I want Steve back. I think it's been long enough. I think a break was good. He'll make Kirk laugh right off the bat.
He's just got to give in to the trolls a little bit. He takes everything very, very seriously at the heart.
The seagulls, yeah. Montante confused seagulls with squirrels somehow.
I can see that. The seagulls unwet it.
Oh my God! What else you got for random notes? How about we'll do this? How about what do you got for it? What do you got for random notes?
I'm trying to pull some up here. I think that we covered a couple of mine here. Is there anything? Oh, Davers blocked both the show account and Kirk. Is Daver gone forever? I think he's the same thing.
Yeah, I think
he's got to lean into it a little bit. I think. I know it's a different situation.
I think he actually is gone. I feel like he's someone like Mayo has no life. I'm not saying Daver has a life, but I feel like Daver has other interests that he can like he's a big soccer guy. He did that DJ stuff for a while. The gambling, I don't know. I could see him just totally shutting it out of his life. Montante was very tight-lipped about it. I guess that was his way of defending him, maybe, like just not.
Well, he said he's not really talking to him. He said he butt.
Yeah, but Montante knows, like I think everything about the story, so he probably could keep like throwing dirt on him on the grave. But I mean, I guess he's just a good friend. It's like me with Mayo. Like I don't want to bury him here.
There's a part of you that does, right?
Yes.
All he wants
I do it in the DM. I do it in the DMs now. I've learned my lesson.
Oh, fucking finally. God, I don't know.
Yeah, he sent me a nice DM before the show, Mayo. He said, "Fuck you ahead of time for what you're gonna say about me on the show on Friday."
The only funny thing that I found that he's done lately is when he was going to be in with John and Warren, and he just DMs him, "Kill yourself."
Yeah, that was fun. That was good. Yeah, because everyone's got that DM.
Yeah, I got that. At first, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, now I know why I blocked this guy.
I don't know. I think Daver might be just done. If he comes back, it'll be months from now. Hopefully he's gets his shit together and he's fine with everything. I don't know. What do you even say to something in that situation?
I'm happy that Danny got let back in a little bit too, because I think Danny's a nice guy.
Yeah, Danny is.
Bring him back in studio. Give him another chance.
Yeah.
I was expecting John to wear the same outfit that Danny wore, the winter hat and the winter jacket and the scarf. Because he made that the joke to start off.
He had some bit that we were talking about. He was talking about doing before we got in there. He messaged me. He's like, "I'm here." He's like, "Oh, I thought of something. I should have done it before we left the house." Like, I can't remember what it is.
I did promise him I would bring up, because we've talked about it in the DMs in the past. I also have a very small head. Not very cool to make fun of that. You can't choose your head size.
Agreed.
Right, Pat? You can't choose your head size or your face size.
No.
You cannot tell that his head is small from camera. I mean, maybe in person, but it's not like it's Justin's body with a small head. It's like a small guy with a small head. I don't know. Give him a break.
Yeah, no, I would have never like looked at him and been like, "You have a small head," but I think if we're talking fitted hat, we're in the low 7s.
I think he said he used a youth large, if I remember.
Okay. Right. Fair. I could see it. It
could be worse. It could be like penis.
It's
head.
not noticeable.
Penis head. So anyway, I just had to bring him. I promised him I'd defend him. I promised him.
What happened with Clemmer today? Because I saw like he tweeted out something like, "I'm ashamed." Like, what the fuck did he do?
Yeah, I did. I couldn't figure it out. My only guess was someone took his phone from the yak and tweeted like an apology to like troll people. I don't know. I don't think it was anything. That was confusing though. I saw that and there was like no explanation. So that was my guess. Someone took his phone while he was doing the yak stuff.
We got any random notes, boys?
I mean, we got to bring up your bud, Jeffrey Lowe, right?
Jesus. Yep. I gotta figure something out.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Fucking steamrolled. But I'll talk numbers here for a minute, okay?
Yes, please.
124,000 followers for Jeff. Good on him. He's built a beautiful product. I still consider him a friend. I apologize for bringing up that little story in the DMs. I got 1.6, and if you look at ratios, I'm at like a 73 to 27 tilt right now. So I'm going to actively reach out to any celebrity with open DMs and offer them like a 20 spot to throw me a hot retweet. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, he did not like that DM thing that I shared, and he's like, I'm going to bury this motherfucker. Everybody vote on this poll.
That was unbelievable. When you got somebody like Jeff D. Lowe in that bracket, quote tweeting it like, I need to beat Patrick Ford. Like, who the fuck? Like, this world is unbelievable.
It's bad enough to have the fucking 15 seed in the Kemp region, for God's sakes. But I understand why they did it. But yeah, that's tough. Hopefully we battle back.
Great instincts by Justin, waiting for Jeff to be to call into the show to play that parody song. That was a good song. It was a little slow, but
they totally fucked up that autograph thing, right? Like them talking about that.
Yeah.
I was gonna go too.
Yeah,
I was gonna get my sweatshirt.
That's one thing you don't fucking air out, especially about Dale Arnold, because he frightens so easily.
Yeah, I don't know if like Kirk didn't shut them down, so I don't know if he just overplayed like Dale's playfulness with it. Yeah, that's too bad, but I'm sure he'll do more stuff. So
sad.
Yeah.
You could have been there tonight.
I live like a half an hour away. I have 2 KMS sweatshirts. I was gonna sign them both. I was gonna give him a 50 spot just for his time.
Oh my God! Could you imagine giving Dale Arnold $50 for an autograph?
I don't have any change. Like, yeah, don't need it, buddy. Keep on doing you.
The last thing I have, well, I will say just real quick, Kirk's spoon for the popcorn thing. That's just a great pragmatic move. Like, just do what you got to do to get that food in your mouth. No issues with that, and keep your hands clean. Pat, the Cheeto dust, like I'm a Cheeto guy, so I'm not going to shame you for that. But
I ate an edible and I woke up and it was just a fucking. It looked like somebody died in that bed.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
You'll be like Coleman tomorrow morning. Yeah. The last thing, Carabas, like 90% going to that underdog, just putting the pieces together. So Kirk brought up Portnoy brought up underdog, and then Mut in the Mut stack, another good addition of the Mut stack today, was questioning why Carabas said in his statement, like, my next move will be for the fans. That is because of Coley being at underdog. Like, Carabas's fans love Coley on his show. So that's really why I think it's like a no-brainer. Anyway.
It made no sense to bring him back to Barstool when Kirk asked Portnoy, well, how much money did he make you? 0.
I think that's 70% of the company.
Carabas, like on his show, I listened to his episode where he talked about it. He was using like past tense when talking about Barstool. Like my first chapter at Barstool, and then I worked at DraftKings, and they treated me great. He basically said like he didn't like how he was treated at Barstool, and it was definitely like past tense, not like he wasn't really leaving the door open. I mean, maybe it's a negotiating ploy. Who knows? I'd love it to have back.
Wanted to swan dive off a building in New York, so I think that had something to do with it.
Yeah, the Black Friday. He'll get that call from Tim Ken.
Oh my God!
Ooh, Black Friday's coming.
I need Mut to do something. I need him to do a show with Colin or Mut or somebody. I need more Mut content. I know Kirk's
Mut Ordway.
I don't know anything about Ordway, so, but I love Mut. Mut's great. Kirk's gonna hate this, but Mut, you're great. Please just do videos, more videos. Something
that we can all agree on. I think it's a good way to wrap it up.
So I think we covered it all, boys, and we have at least 3 shows next week. We'll see if we fuck it up. Maybe we'll get a 4th.
Sheldon, can you end it? Yeah, Pat, thank you for joining us. Great show today. Congratulations on the kid. Sorry about the fish. Montante.
Thank you.
Good luck with the cat. Thoughts and prayers. But Sheldon, can you close us out with another good morning, gentlemen?
Yeah, so like I did today when I called in. Good evening, gentlemen.
That did make me laugh.